Hello, everyone. Have you also experienced a situation wherein you were confused if should you use a comma or not after a series of words or phrases? This little punctuation mark has been firstly defended or shrugged off by grammarians for years or even simple writers like us. Now, I have tried to read some more about this consuming punctuation mark or even confusing punctuation mark. So if you want to know more about it, I'd like to ask you to continue reading this, and please don't forget to like and subscribe so that you will be easily notified if there will be some new uploads. Okay, now what is an Oxford comma first? This is actually a comma used after the item in a list of three or more items before a conjunction and or. Okay, for example, we have the Italian painter, sculptor, and architect. This is actually from the Oxford languages. Okay, so this is the Oxford comma. Okay, so if you see, you can see there the Italian painter and then the sculptor. All right, so you use it, for some, they use it before the conjunction end. So that's before the conjunction end and after some two or more words or phrases. So that is the Oxford comma. For some, they call it the serial comma also. And Harvard comma. So don't forget, it could either be called the Oxford comma, the serial comma, or the Harvard comma. All right, now I would like you to take a look at this sentence. Among those who were the eye catchers of the event were the president's siblings. Okay, so this is the first phrase. Where president's siblings. Then we have Juan de la Cruz and Antonio Rizal. Okay, so there are three identified persons here, but of course siblings will be two. Okay, now for some, they don't use comma before the preposition ends. So that is without the Oxford comma. Now, if you are going to take a look at it, it's as if that without the comma, it seems that the president's siblings are Juan de la Cruz and Antonio Rizal. Okay, so I repeat, without the comma, without the Oxford comma, there might be a confusion that the president's siblings are Juan de la Cruz and Antonio Rizal. That's for some um, readers. So for those people, or for some people, they'd rather use the Oxford comma to avoid the confusion so that it would be clearer for them that the president's siblings, Juan de la Cruz, another person, and Antonio Rizal, another person, will be or are the eye catchers of the event. Okay. Another without the Oxford comma. I would like to sincerely and humbly thank my parents, Mrs. Lady Valentine, and Mr. Christian Jos Asuncion. Okay, so in here again, there might be some confusion of the appositive parents, which seems like it is Mrs. Lady Valen and also Mr. Christian Jos, which are actually not. So again, for some writers, they'd rather use the Oxford comma. Okay. So once again, look at this, another sentence. I have invited my parents, Anna and Alex. So to make it better, I have invited my parents, Anna and Alex. That is for some writers. So when to use Oxford comma? Okay, it is used to avoid ambiguity or to make the idea clearer and specific. All right, there are other examples of the Oxford comma in use. So we have during the trip, the tourists visited Morocco, Spain, and Portugal. Also, he's invited or he has invited only his sister, his parents, and his best friend to the graduation. And we have another two sentences here. Now, in some cases, you can leave the Oxford comma out without changing the meaning of the sentence. So, for example, here he bought eggs, milk, and bread. So this is acceptable. The Oxford comma is the comma that comes before the final item in a list. Some style guides insist on the Oxford comma and some do not. So when no usage is specified, the choice of whether or not to use the Oxford comma is left up to the writer. Okay. Another note, Oxford comma is considered optional by American English language grammarians. Some specific style guides, though, prescribe the Oxford comma at the end of a list. One such style guide comes from Oxford University Press, which accounts for the origin of the term Oxford comma. Other style guide manuals, though, like the APA Style Guide, advise against its use in less formal context. That is why please do not be confused if there are some who would check you on the use of the Oxford comma. Most probably, the style guide that they are using is the AP Style Guide. The use of the Oxford comma has prompted heated debate based on the subjective opinions of the individual writers. So while the Oxford comma is technically grammatically correct, it is most often unnecessary and pointless. Thus, writers and editors should eliminate the comma unless it is absolutely essential for comprehension. But it's all a matter of style. Any worthy publication has its own rules for style, writing guidelines that their staff should abide to for consistency. So you have to ask in your organization or institution or school, what do they prefer? So two notable style guides are the Chicago Manual of Style and the Associated Press or AP Style Book. The former uses the Oxford comma while the latter does not. Neither of these style guides are wrong. They are put in place to maintain consistency, which is more important than any one rule. Many publications that omit the Oxford comma, like the New York Times, also allow for its usage in cases where ambiguity is unavoidable. So for some, it is really acceptable, and for some, it is not. All right, so in a nutshell, for some, they would simply say Oxford, just do it, while others would say Oxford, don't do it. Or some would say you can use Oxford, while others would say do not use the Oxford Dictionary. So it's just a matter of choice, but also it's a matter of the use of style or style guide that you should be following in your place. Okay, so these are some of the sources of information which we have used in this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like.